Mateo lived in America for 12 years. He worked hard. He paid his taxes. He raised his family here. He believed he had done everything right. Then one morning he walked into immigration court. The judge looked down at his file, then asked, "When were you first served with your notice to appear?" Mateo froze. He never imagined that one question could decide whether he stayed with his family. Here is what is actually happening. Living in America for 10 years does not automatically stop deportation. But for some people, it may become one of the most important legal defenses available. You may be thinking, this only applies to people with criminal convictions. It does not. Some of the strongest families are caught completely by surprise because they misunderstand one rule that changes everything. Today I will explain the 10-year rule, the 5 mistakes that quietly destroy otherwise strong cases, and the one requirement immigration judges often examine more closely than almost anything else. Stay with me, because the first mistake happens years before most people ever step into a courtroom. And by the end of this video, you will know exactly what evidence can help protect your case. Mistake 5. Believing every year counts toward the 10-year rule. Mateo believed he was safe. He had lived in America for more than 12 years. He thought every day counted toward the 10-year rule. Many families believe exactly the same thing. Here is what is actually happening. The law does not simply count the number of years you have lived in the United States. It also looks at specific legal events. One event can stop your clock much earlier than you expect, even if you continue living here. This is known as the stop time rule. It surprises thousands of families because nothing about daily life changes. You still go to work, you still pay taxes, you still raise your children. But legally, your timeline may already be frozen. That is exactly what happened to Mateo. He believed he had already met the requirement. The government calculated his time differently. Now I want you to think about your own situation. If someone asked you today, what is the exact date your 10-year clock began? Could you answer with confidence? Could you prove it with documents? Or would you only be guessing? Immigration cases are not decided by memory. They are decided by evidence. Start collecting every record that helps prove your timeline. Tax returns, lease agreements, employment records, school records, medical records. Every document becomes another piece of your story. Never assume the government is counting your time the same way you are. Always verify your timeline before you ever stand before an immigration judge. This is the first mistake, but it is not the mistake that defeats most cases. Mateo corrected his timeline. Then he discovered an even bigger challenge. Because meeting the 10-year rule alone is never enough. The next mistake catches many honest families completely off guard. Mistake 4. Thinking a clean record is enough. Mateo finally understood his timeline. He believed the hardest part was behind him. He was wrong. The judge was no longer looking at dates. Now the judge wanted to understand the person standing in the courtroom. Here is what is actually happening. Many people believe one thing. I have never been arrested, so I should qualify. That is not how this defense works. A clean record does not automatically prove good moral character. Just as one mistake does not automatically destroy it. The judge looks at your entire life, not just one moment. Mateo had worked for years. He paid taxes. He supported his family. He stayed involved in his community. Those things mattered, but they only mattered if he could prove them. Now imagine the judge asking you one simple question. Can you show me the life you have built? Would your documents answer that question? Or would they leave important pieces missing? This is why evidence becomes your voice. Tax returns show responsibility. Employment records show stability. School records help explain your family. Letters from employers, neighbors, faith leaders, or community organizations help show your character over time. Every document tells one chapter of your story. Together, they help the judge understand who you really are. Here is something many families never expect. Someone with no criminal record can still lose this case, while someone who made a mistake years ago may still qualify. The difference is often honesty, responsibility, and evidence. The good news is that many families already have stronger evidence than they realize. They simply have never organized it or understood why it matters. Mateo realized this hearing was never about proving he was perfect. It was about proving the person he had become. He cleared another important step, but the hardest challenge was still waiting. Because proving you are a good person is only half of the case. The next mistake is where many strong families lose everything. Mistake 3. Underestimating exceptional hardship. Mateo believed the hardest part was finally over. He proved how long he had lived in America. He proved the life he had built. He proved his character. He thought he was finally safe. Then the judge asked one more question. If you are removed, who suffers the most? Mateo answered without hesitation. My family. The judge nodded, then quietly said, every family suffers when someone is deported. That alone is not enough. Mateo looked confused. He never expected that answer. Here is what is actually happening. Immigration law expects deportation to be painful. The court is looking for something much more difficult to prove. It is called exceptional and extremely unusual hardship. That is one of the highest legal standards in immigration law. Many honest families lose their cases here, not because they are dishonest, not because they failed the first 2 requirements, but because they cannot prove this final part. Now think about your own family. If you had to leave tomorrow, what evidence would show the real impact? Could your family prove it, or would they? Simply explain it. There is a very important difference. Immigration judges decide cases using evidence, not assumptions, not emotions alone. Mateo helped care for his granddaughter every week. She depended on him for medical appointments. She depended on him after school. His daughter worked full-time. Without Mateo, there was no one else to provide that care. The family did not simply tell the judge this, they proved it. Medical records showed her condition. Doctor letters explained her treatment. School records showed her needs. Work records showed why her mother could not stay home. Every document answered another question. Every document made the family's story stronger. Here is something many families never realize. Saying your family needs you is not enough. Showing exactly why they need you is what matters. That is the difference between emotion and evidence. The good news is this. Many families already have this evidence. They simply do not know how important it becomes until it is almost too late. Mateo finally understood something that changed everything. This case was never about asking the judge for sympathy. It was about proving the facts, one document at a time, one piece of evidence at a time. He believed he had finally reached the finish line. He was wrong. Because even families who prove every requirement can still face one final obstacle. And that obstacle surprises people even after they win their case. Let us look at that next. Mistake 2. Believing winning your case ends the journey. Mateo finally felt hope. He had proved his timeline. He had proved his character. He had proved the hardship his family would face. He believed the hardest part was over. Then his attorney explained something he had never heard before. Winning the case does not always mean receiving your green card immediately. Mateo was stunned. He thought a successful decision meant he could finally move forward. Here is what is actually happening. Some forms of immigration relief are limited by law. Only a certain number of approvals are available each year. That means even people who win their case may have to wait before receiving permanent status. Many families never expect this, because nobody tells them until they are already deep into the process. Now, think about your own situation. If you won your case tomorrow, would you know what happens next? Or would you assume everything was finished? That assumption creates unnecessary stress for many families. The good news is this. A. Waiting period does not mean your case failed. It does not mean the judge changed their decision. It simply means the immigration system has another step. Patience becomes part of the process. Mateo understood something important that day. Winning in court was not the end. It was the beginning of another stage. That is why preparation never stops. Keep every immigration document. Keep every court notice. Keep every approval. Keep every letter you receive. Every document may become important again. Here is something many people never realize. The strongest families prepare for what happens after the hearing, not just the hearing itself. That preparation helps prevent confusion, delays, and unnecessary mistakes. Mateo left the courtroom feeling relieved. But he also understood that protecting his future required patience, planning, and careful attention to every step. He thought there was nothing left to learn. He was wrong. Because the final mistake is the only one you can begin fixing today, and it may become the most valuable step you ever take. Mistake 1. Waiting until court to build your case. Mateo thought preparation started the day he received his hearing notice. He was wrong. His case had actually started years earlier. Every tax return, every lease, every medical record, every school document, every immigration notice, they were all becoming part of his story. He just did not know it yet. Here is what is actually happening. Many families wait until immigration court before they begin looking for evidence. By then, valuable records may already be missing. Some documents are difficult to replace. Some are gone forever. Now ask yourself one question. If immigration asked you today to prove the last 10 years of your life, could you do it? Could you find every document that tells your story? Or would you spend weeks searching for records you wish you had saved? This is where strong cases begin. Not inside a courtroom, not in front of a judge, but at home, one document at a time. Start building one secure folder. Keep your tax records, keep your medical records, keep your employment records. Keep your immigration notices. Keep every document that helps tell your family's story. Every record becomes another piece of evidence. Every piece of evidence becomes another layer of protection. Here is something many people never realize. The families with the strongest cases usually begin preparing long before they know they will ever need to. The good news is this. You do not have to wait for a court date. You can start protecting your future today. One paper at a time, one folder at a time, one step at a time. Months later, Mateo looked back at the day he froze in that courtroom. The judge asked one question. This time, Mateo knew the answer. Not because the law had changed, but because he had prepared. That is the lesson every family should remember. Hope is important, but hope is not evidence. Preparation is. Here is the bottom line. The 10-year rule can protect some families, but only when every legal requirement is supported by clear evidence. Preparation cannot guarantee the outcome, but it gives you the strongest foundation possible. If you stayed with me until the end, you now understand this defense better than many families do before they ever walk into immigration court. If Mateo's story reminded you of someone you care about, share this video with them. It may help them start preparing before it is too late. Thank you for spending this time with me. Take care of yourself. If you stayed with me until the end, you now understand something many families do not discover until they are already standing in immigration court. Living in America for 10 years is not enough. Paying taxes is not enough. Having a clean record is not enough. The law rewards preparation, not assumptions. Every requirement must be supported by evidence. Every document helps tell your story. Every decision you make today can help protect your future tomorrow. The good news is this. Preparation begins long before a courtroom, and you can start today. One document at a time, one record at a time, one step at a time. If someone you care about believes the 10-year rule automatically protects them, please share this video with them. It could help them avoid a mistake that cannot easily be corrected later. And if you want to better understand the immigration rules that affect green card holders and their families, watch the next LawShield USA video on your screen. Every video is designed to help you prepare before small problems become much bigger ones. Thank you for being here. Take care of yourself, and take care of your family.